All right. Oh, I almost did it. Now the guy that hates that has nothing to complain about. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another Mech Mod Monday. grimgreen.com back here today doing this all backwards. What I have to talk to you about today, so I'm already breaking my own rules because this isn't exactly a mech mod. This is very much like that My Box mod that I did last week. It is a dual 18650 parallel Hammond box mod, but you use it as you basically use it as a mech mod. Now I don't know, I can't see on the site if it's MOSFET protected. Doesn't say anywhere on the SickClouds site if it's MOSFET protected. The only thing they have on there is a warning that says do not build lower than 0.06 ohms, which is very, very low. So I'm assuming I am fine with this 0.2 ohm build here on the Aeolus. In order to get to know this mod just a little bit better, we're going to go up close, as we always do, for a quick short uppy closey time. All right, we're going to spend a little bit of up close and personal time here with the SickClouds. It's not quite a mech mod, but it functions very, very much like a mech mod, or very, very much like that My Box that we had before. It's made from a Hammond box mod, or a Hammond box rather, and there's a lot of mods that are made out of this box. I've seen you know, unregulated mods, regulated mods. The Duke was made out of this same box. The hexohms are made out of this same box. One of the things about the Hammond box is the top isn't completely flat. The top kind of sits at a very, very slight angle, which unless you're really looking for it, I guess, you wouldn't really notice. But just be aware that all mods made out of the Hammond box, including, you know, the hexohm and the hexohm version 2, which I love, and including this and the Duke, and there's a bunch of them out there. The 510 connections always sit at a very slight angle. It just ever so slightly slopes back towards the back, and so when you grab it and you look at it, your atomizer kind of sits at this weird angle. But with that said, it does have a Fat Daddy Vapes 510 spring-loaded 510 connection on there. It's got a horn style switch, and I can't for the life of me see on the site if this is MOSFET protected. I'm going to try to figure that out before, hopefully I can put that in the description, but I'm not sure if this is MOSFET protected. All it says on the website is please limit your builds to no lower than 0.06 ohms, which is, I mean, that is very, very low. 0.06 ohms. I've never had a reason to go any lower than that, but they have a warning on the site. So it's dual 18650. You can get them in series wiring, but obviously I would get, I like the parallel because I have no need for, you know, 7 volts of power. It says it uses 12 gauge and 14 gauge solid core copper wiring. All the wiring in there is very heavy duty, very thick, very well put together, so it can certainly handle very low ohms. I think the lowest that I've actually built on this is 0.17 ohms, which isn't incredibly low, but if you're building that low, you're going to need some really good high amp limit batteries in there. So let's talk about the cover on it. The cover isn't like a traditional Hammond box style cover that looks, you know, of the same material and makes this looks like a box. He uses these sort of plexi, right, with magnets in them. And what you can do is it sits on here just like that. But when you look at it very closely, there's a little gap all the way around. And recently I've noticed that my magnets have started becoming a little bit loose. See how I could push that down and the magnet pushes up through the top of the plexi? Did it right there, did it right there. So now there's no more gap, but you can't fit your batteries in here unless there is that gap. So I'm just going to put 2 of these LGD, these are the LGD 35 amp batteries. And when you have a parallel box mod, you always have to put the positive connections, always go up. Negative down, positive up. They sit in there really nice. They sit in a custom 3D printed sled. So they sit in there really, really nice, really, really secure. They're not, it's not a lot of a wobble back and forth. They sit in there very, very, whoops. Good God, maybe they don't sit in there very, very nice. Wow, that battery just falls out right now. Why is that happening? That was really, really strange. That is honestly, truly and honestly, 100% never happened to me before. The batteries sit in there nice, generally. Yeah, I mean, they're sitting in there nice now. But with those magnets in there, and now when I go to put this on, there is still a gap, but now the door wobbles around like crazy. So, what happens is you have to be careful. You have to push these magnets all the way down, all the way down, all the way down, so they're flush. You have to make these magnets flush with the top. You see how they're flush now with the top and they're not up like this? You need them to be down like this. Down, down. So now, when you put this on, there's a gap. There's no play up and down, side to side. There's no more wobbly door. But you do end up with a slight gap all the way around. All the way around, there's a slight gap. And you can see your batteries through there. And I was terrified of dripping in here and getting juice in there and having it somehow mess with the electronics. I've been very, very careful. I've been rocking it with mostly tanks. Most recently, this Aeolus atomizer, which is not leak-proof, but basically leak-proof. And I haven't really given it a second thought. The performance obviously is very, very nice. Might need to re-wick those coils. But otherwise, yeah, there's not a whole heck of a lot to see here. Let's get back out to normal view and let us vape this.
Normal view, normal view.
So yeah, 0.2 ohms just seems to be my sweet spot. It's what I build to, it's what I like. It's warm-ish, but it's not too warm, and I really, really like it. With that said, this box has been holding up very, very well. I was a little wary when I first got it of that gap because this magnetic top, it sits on there and it's nice and there's no wiggle room back and forth unless you mess up those magnets. But there's no wiggle room up and down. There's no wiggling side to side. The door stays on there flush. It's not like that Tesla box where, you know, you push on one side and the other side goes up. The button is nice and clicky. It's clicky, but it's squishy as well. It's like squicky. Is that a word? It could be a word. It feels squicky to me. All the internals, as you saw in the up close, look very, very nice. Very, very thick gauge. They use 12 and 14 gauge solid copper wiring. Again, I don't know if this is MOSFET protected, but they say it is safe down to 0.06 ohms, which I don't build that low. I don't advocate building that low. If you want to build that low, then that's up to you, but you're going to need some very, very nice batteries. So there was some confusion previously in my other parallel box mod video. I had said that using a parallel box doesn't necessarily double the amp limit of your batteries, and then I got a bunch of conflicting stories via email and comments that, oh yes, it definitely doubles your amp limit on your batteries, and other people saying, no, it doesn't double it, it simply boosts it a little bit. I still cannot get a consensus answer as to whether or not it doubles your amp limit. What I do know for sure is that it definitely raises your amp limit up a little bit. Someone described it very well. I wish I could find the comment on my video, but I just can't find it. Someone was saying it doesn't double the amp limit, but the battery is only producing half of the amps. It's only accepting half of the load. It's like a cart being pulled by a donkey, right? But now suddenly that cart is being pulled by two donkeys, so both donkeys are only doing half of the work. Does that make sense? That kind of made sense to me the way he described it. I really like this box mod. I've been using it and I think it's just, I just love the aesthetics of it, obviously because he etched the Grim Army logo on there. And for 10 bucks more, in addition to the $140 that you'll spend on this mod, for 10 bucks more, you can get whatever. You know, if you run a company, get your company logo on there. If you run Dave's sick vape blog, then get your logo on there. I think that's a cool touch, and it is very, very nice. It's engraved on the inside, so the inside definitely feels rough, but the outside, oh, just feels smooth like glass. And that's really the only side you'll be touching for it. These yellow batteries kind of don't do that logo very much justice, but it is what it is. It is a cool mod. You're going to need your vape budget hands because it's about 140 bucks, 150 bucks if you want custom laser engraving. There's going to be a lot of dual 18650 or maybe dual 26650. That's what I would like to see. But there's going to be a lot of dual 18650, you know, unregulated, parallel wired box mods coming out, and you're going to have to use, you know, read some reviews, watch some reviews, see what you want to see. There is the My Box out there that I absolutely love, but it's made of plexi. If someone doesn't want something that's made of plexi, you want something that's made out of a hard metal Hammond box, then absolutely this could be an option for you. I'm going to wrap this up before I get a little too rambly, but this is the SickClouds box, available from sickclouds.com. I'll post a link in the description. It is very, very cool. It does have some wonkiness with the door that I'm not 100% sold on. I wish there was a way to make it flat, but you just can't. Can you see right here how the batteries protrude just a little bit from the box? So there's not really a way for this enclosure to sit flat on there and accommodate the batteries. I don't know if they can print different sleds or have the batteries. If the batteries went down like 4 millimeters, you could definitely get this lid to sit flat. As it stands, does not sit flat. There is a gap, so you have to be wary of your dripping. I've been using it with tanks, like I said, or the aeolus, which I've never, ever had a leaking issue with. It's very cool. You're going to need your vape budget hands. This is from SickClouds. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and as always, let's keep on vaping.